everybody. Hey, I'm finally doing the drone crash and what's going on with it now video. I've been procrastinating on this because it's been going back and forth, and I'm going to explain what's happening to it here in just a minute. But yeah, I hadn't had the drone very long. I was still learning how to fly it, and I'm still learning today. I mean, there's a lot to learn on these things, but good news is I actually have a drone pilot in the family, Landon, my son. He flew for the Army drones in the desert there for a while. So go Land. But as far as our little DJI Mini 2, yeah, I had a few issues. Went to a beautiful waterfall, got some excellent footage, and you'll see that here in just a second. And then we'll talk about what happens next. Okay, basically it bounced off a wall or vegetation and fell a good ways into a pool of water. We couldn't find it, and we really did search. And the lesson learned for me on this is always keep a visual on the drone. I was watching the screen and not paying as much attention to where the drone is in relation to those canyon walls as I should have. Also, to move around with the drone or have a spotter near it while you're flying it, just in case there is a problem. I was still sitting back over a good ways watching the drone, and then I'd watch the screen because it was a pretty neat waterfall to video. Now later that day, my buddy and the tour guide, Ricardo, were able to locate it. It was over 1 meter deep in water, and I was already home, so I had him remove the battery. He had a fan on it all night long, you know, drained all the water out that he could. I picked it up the next day and placed about 2 pounds of rice and absorbent material into a pan. Then I placed the drone on top of that and sealed it all in a plastic bag. It stayed in that plastic bag for like 6 days. I think that was about, as good as it was going to get. Initially, when I powered it up after taking it out, I was nervous as anything. So initially, it would show power. When I put the battery back in, I was very nervous about doing this. Didn't know if it was going to catch on fire or start smoking or what, but it had error messages come up on the screen for the controller. The navigation system error message, restart the aircraft. Gimbal calibration error, restart aircraft or contact the DJI support team. GPS weak signal, hovering, unstable, fly with caution. Okay, well, a bunch of that stuff was where I was at, the GPS thing. I just needed to get into just a little bit better location. The navigation system, basically I had to go in and do some recalibration on a couple of different things. Okay, some of the things I went into and recalibrated. This thing had just come from the water, been sitting in this pan of rice for 6 days. It's pretty iffy. But I went back in and I recalibrated the compass. I went to the IMU and recalibrated it, and I think that right there honestly helped a whole lot on this whole thing. Also, I just went through the controls and check the different things. The gimbal calibration, that was off, and I went in to recalibrate it and did it automatically, and it was able to set that back right. Anyway, I went through the other camera, transmission, the about, check for updates. I did everything I could after this initial test. And I don't know, I lucked out or whatever, but when I engaged it to take off, it flew and it went exactly where it's supposed to go. I think there was an issue, and there still might be an issue with the return to home. The area I'm in, there's not enough really area for me to get out and let it run for a long ways, like a football field or something like that, and then do a return to home. But the camera, the rotation, the liftoff, the landing, everything has been going smoothly with this drone, the water drone. Now, the only problem that started to happen was it would not turn on. I'd put the power pack in, no lights would come on at all. So it was basically, it was sort of hit or miss. And so finally, eventually, I did take it in to a shop to have them look at it. They're a DJI dealer, and they sell all sorts of drones and stuff. Took it into them, and honestly, they were going to have to send it to the actual DJI shop, and it's going to be there about a month, and we was looking at over $470 to $480, somewhere through there for it.
Diagnosis. All the propellers have wear. All the propeller screws oxidized. Moisture is found in the core board due to corrosion it presents. Corroded tracks in its flex connector towards the ESC board, making the ESC board not distribute the voltage to the core board you can send to the factory to perform the repair, which would take an estimated time of 1 month.
And I said, well, I just don't know about that right now. I looked online. I was able to find a new one on Amazon, and even though I'm in El Salvador, I was able to get it shipped here for $470, and it's brand new DJI Mini 2 with controller, 1 battery, in the box, still sealed from the factory, everything that this person had sold. And it arrived. And of course, shipping down here is sort of questionable. It goes through DHL, and then it gets handed off to a third party, and then you sort of lose track of it. And that was a little, a little scary. But yeah, that one, I got that, and it worked fine. It worked fine. And but let me get back to this first one, the water drone. Now the water drone, it kept not wanting to power on. So eventually what I did, and you'll see in one of the pictures there, is I took a power pack and used the C port or the C plug on the back of the drone to plug it in. And it powers, gives it power. And I guess it bypasses something that the battery is not allowed to go through after the damage. So I can pull that C plug back out, that connection, and it's still got power. It's initialized, it's reading the battery. I pressed the battery once, I pressed the battery twice, and it powers up. And I did take this one apart, and you'll see in the video, I'm gonna put some links underneath of these guys. These guys were awesome. They go step by step on what to do with these drones. And as far as propellers go, all these on this drone, the water drone, they spun pretty freely. I did take them apart and shot some contact cleaner, electrical contact cleaner in there to flush out any kind of residue from the bottom of the creek floor there at that waterfall, and flush those out, which is probably not a bad thing to do. Depends on where you take off and land from, a lot of the times. And then, of course, we blew out everything on the inside with this contact cleaner after I got it back to help, dissipate any kind of water. And this stuff dries up and removes oil, grease, any kind of condensation. And now this water drone, the first one, it flies like it's supposed to. All I gotta remember is just take a battery pack with me so I can plug in to basically jump start it, but I'm good to go with it. So that's awesome. I'm so proud it's at least turned out this good. The Amazon Mini 2 that I got in, I was doing some filming down on the beach. Got to work on this catch system of catching the drone, because yeah, it took a dive right into the sand. I mean, it just didn't land on it. It went into it about halfway. So basically going off, and like I said, the links will be below on these guys that worked on the drones and stuff that I got the ideas from. Took the propellers off, took the motors off, disassembled the arms so they could hang down, and put them in 2 cups. And then I did the same thing on the front ones. But filled those cups up with alcohol. And started up the drone and just let it sit there and idle. And so the motors were spinning in the alcohol, and that was helping to basically clean out anything that I couldn't get out myself. Because honestly, the one that was in the sand, I didn't, after it crashed, I got it home. The rotors were pretty well locked, the motors were. So they definitely needed to be cleaned out. So that's why I went to all the measures you see in the pictures here. But we ran it for a while and let it basically clean everything out. Did that to the ones on the front too. And then the next thing we started to do, and I did this on the other drone, the water drone too, is I completely pretty well disassembled it and blew out everything, any kind of dust or sand that might have got in there. And on the water drone, the submarine drone, I really took it apart and I scrubbed on it with a brush and used a contact cleaner and just heavily cleaned it. But honestly, it was in very good condition. The water was very clear where it landed. Now, the only problem I've got now with the newer drone is I think I'm going to have to take the top part off again and get some more air blaster stuff to clean out that gimbal. Now, it worked the other day after messing with it for just a little bit, but initially there was another problem, you know, when it came back up, because I was on location trying to do a Christmas shoot, and it wasn't rotating properly. So yeah, I think I'll take that apart and really blow that out again and see if there's any kind of residue, and if that doesn't work, then I'll have to go into it a little bit deeper. But overall, like I said, I'm still learning, and I've got 2 accidents now, and or 2 crashes now, and got them both up and running again. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they'll keep running for a while and that I won't have this problem. It is neat. The footage is really cool. People love it in your videos if you got some drone footage and stuff. It's just learning how to do it. Yeah, overall, now we've got 2 drones, 2 controllers, the battery packs. So hopefully between those 2 and hopefully not many more crashes, we can keep them going for a while. And it's just fun to do, and I sure do enjoy it. So hey, thanks for the likes, the comments, subscribing. Appreciate all you guys and girls. And hasta luego. I'll see you later.